Well, good afternoon on the West Coast. Good early evening out here on the East Coast. It is August 9th, a beautiful day here in South Jersey for episode number 114 of Material Issues. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. I'm over here with a Basset Beagle Hound driving me crazy for the last 5 or 6 days. I'm babysitting, but nice to see my good friend who's in the middle of IPO Los Angeles, the president of the International Pop Over There Festival, Mr. David Bash. Good afternoon, David. I got it right.
Yes, you did. You normally call me Steve.
Steve.
Yeah, no. Then he means that he says good evening to me, even though it's still afternoon. But
yeah.
Either way, the good wishes are very appreciated. Hi, everyone. It is about 3 p.m. here in Southern California, and
you've been busy, man.
Been busy and very tired as usual. During IPO. I mean, this is IPO LA, which means I get to stay in my own bed, which is nice. But sleep is difficult because there's always that. Hey, Andy. Good evening. See,
Andy.
I'll forgive him. There's adrenaline battling with serotonin, and so
I know her. I dated her for a while in high school. Serotonin. Yeah.
I dated Adriana Lynn. Adriana Lynn. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, she did some suspect movies too. I remember her. Yeah.
That does sound like that kind of name.
She was Ginger's sister, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Ginger. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Not that I would know. You remember you told me about that last week. I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I probably know the names of about 300 porn stars. So
it's all good. Hey, it's just life.
That raises a question. Why is everyone who acts in a porn movie referred to as a porn star? It'd be like some extra. It would be like some extra in a mainstream movie saying, "I'm a movie star."
I'm a movie star. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
what would you call somebody in a porn movie that's just not very good at it? It wouldn't be a porn star. It would be a porn.
I don't necessarily know what. I mean, let's talk about someone who's in porn movies, not all that well known. They're a porn actor, just like
porn actor. Okay.
Porn actor, just porn like actor. A Western actor or a comedy actor or whatever. They're a porn actor. That's it.
So instead
some of them are stars. I mean,
I don't know how we get down this road sometimes. So
we get down whatever road is in front of us.
So
and it's often the road less traveled, which is fun.
Instead of someone being a B movie star, they would be a B cup star.
There's not a whole lot of that in porn, although there are some B cup actors. I mean, look, no matter what your thing is, it's available in porn.
You know what?
I don't care what your fantasy is, you'll find it if you look hard enough.
And life needs to be laughed
at. Not that I know that personally.
I know there are people who maybe take offense to even talking about porn. We're just being funny. We're just having a good time with it. I made a joke last night online. I got stung by 3 wasps walking around the corner.
And what are you, racist? Wasps?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it was?
They made insults to me. I felt stung by these 3 wasps. But actual wasps.
Right.
Yeah. So I got the first one. The first one got me in the back of the head. And I mean, it felt, it hurt like, it felt like a bullet. And then right after it, a second one hit me here. And then when I realized what was going on, I picked up Ches and I put him under my T-shirt because I knew we were getting attacked. And I started to run. And then a third one hit me right here. The swelling has finally gone down. But I made a joke online that I felt like JFK at Dealey Plaza. A lot of people laughed. But there were those who said that was really insensitive. I said it was just a joke. It was just something funny because it popped into my head. And, all you see is the Zapruder film where he gets hit in the head from different angles, supposedly. And that's what I felt like. And it was like, they were like bullets that hit me in the head. And Holy cow! I'm not allergic, so it didn't, really mess me up. But it was
Well,
a fun.
thankfully it didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, wasp stings they can be problematic for some people.
But I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, look. Well, there are a few things. One, there's no the the line. Nobody really knows where the line is. I mean, I think I don't know. Sort of jokes about Hitler, maybe, and even then, there's certain things you can say about Hitler, but um, we are living in an extremely sensitive society. Let's face it. You
Yeah.
can't say anything to anybody anymore. Um, everything's and there's buzzwords for everything: triggering, gaslighting, ghosting.
Yeah. But
I'm sure I'm forget snowflake. And I mean, look, we're all you and I are in our 60s. We don't get it. I'm not, I try to put myself in their point of view, and to some extent I can, but I can't. I just can't. Yeah, I'm just not down with a lot of what's going on right now. But I'm not supposed to be. Just like we talked about music, it's not our world anymore.
it's not our world. Yeah.
And we, yeah,
Yeah. It was just like the Bat Mayhem. Not quite as exciting, Andy, but yes.
we need, if we're going to deal with people, with younger people, we need to learn to live in their world, and it's hard. I'm having a really rough time. Relating on some level. I'm having a rough time knowing where certain boundaries are with people because again, when we grew up, we could say a lot of stuff and do a lot of stuff that people at least appeared to be fine with.
And I continue to watch What's My Line, and I'm telling you, every episode, Gene Rayburn or Soupy Sales, they say grossly inappropriate things to some of the female panel. And everybody laughed. Even the females on the panel, I don't know if they went home and cried about it. I don't know that, but everybody was laughing about it.
I think they're probably. I think when Gene kind of manhandled Meredith McRae on that episode, that probably went over a line. I mean,
yeah,
you could tell she was uncomfortable with it, even though she was smiling. You got the sense like, get your hands off me, old man. Dirty old man, I should say.
Gene Rayburn. All I can remember is that long, thin microphone that he had on Match Game.
Speaking of Match Game, I've seen some episodes where things were said. I've seen some episodes where things were said I couldn't believe. I mean, there was one. I don't remember the exact question and what was supposed to fill in the blank, but Jimmy Walker was one of the panelists, and they got to Charles Nelson Riley, and he started talking about watermelon and black-eyed peas, and everybody started laughing. And Jimmy Walker, they showed him, and of course he was laughing, but who knows what he was thinking?
Yeah. I mean,
people, minorities, women, back then they learned to get along in that.
And they had to do it in order to have a semblance of a career. Otherwise, they were out. And
that's very unfortunate.
And
I also remember, if you remember the Dean Martin celebrity roast.
Some of the funniest stuff on the planet.
Yeah, and a lot of it, Don Rickles and other comedians, they would make jokes about minorities. I remember he said something about who was on Esther Roll. He was saying, the house needs cleaning on Monday and Wednesday,
Yeah.
I mean, and she would laugh, even though who knows what she was thinking inside. But the only person who didn't laugh at stuff like that was Wilt Chamberlain when he was on. And that made sense because he wasn't part of the fraternity.
Right.
He was an athlete.
Right.
He didn't know how to play the game, and he probably didn't want to play the game and wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you could see he's sitting there like crossing his arms and not quite scowling, but you could see he wasn't happy.
Yeah. He figured he's like, I don't really want to be here. Yeah.
No, especially hearing jokes like that,
But you know what? You watch. You know how almost blackballed Louis C.K. was when when he was found, masturbating in front of a babysitter or something, and you know, yeah, it kind of killed his career for the last 5 or 6 years. But he's back now. He's tons of things on YouTube and he's out live, and the stuff that he talks about. I mean, he's going back to those days of just saying whatever he feels like it. And
really,
it's quite interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is he going as far as the comedians of the 60s and 70s?
I would say yes. If you go out and watch a lot of things on YouTube, the stuff that he says, but he's got that almost Don Rickles-esque type aura about him where you understand that it's for the joke. And if you just let it be funny, it's funny. Because Don Rickles, everybody loved Don Rickles, even though he was insulting the hell out of minorities and women.
I don't know that he could get away with that now, though.
Probably no, not now. He couldn't get away. That's why I'm kind of surprised that Louis C.K. is getting away with a lot of what he talks about. And it's interesting. I like Louis C.K.
I've never seen his act.
His writing, his joke writing, his setups are really, really good. Now a lot of it is dirty. A lot of it's on the blue side of things, but
sure.
But he's very good at he'll have that surprise angle and punchline, and you're just like, oh shit, didn't think he'd go there. And it's funny, good stuff. I like it. But to each his own.
I wanted to talk about a few things I bought on the way to IPO on Sunday, and not so much partially because of the music, but also partially because it brought to mind a particular concept that is in my head just massive. But anyway, I bought 4 things, and some of them are pretty cool. One is this really nice reissue of Ride's second album, Going Blank Again, which has Twisterella on it, which is like the shoegazer power pop song of all time. Nice. I mean, you'll never hear anything quite as power poppy from a shoegaze band as you will Twisterella from Ride.
Is that a gatefold, or does that just look like
it is a gatefold? I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah.
That's mostly what gets me to pay the exorbitant vinyl prices when it's a gatefold. If a reissue is well done with a nice gatefold, yeah, for sure it is. With a nice gatefold and just really vivid artwork, I'm all over it.
Now, where did you pick that up at?
Oh, these were at Amoeba Records.
Amoeba
Music.
So I mean, Amoeba is well known, place that you go to and whatnot. So a gatefold album like that, a reissue of Ride, what is that running?
I think it was like $35.
See, that's on average of a nice gatefold album, I guess, nowadays. But man, when you go back to thinking when we were young,
oh my God,
and you picked up
$3.99,
$4.99 for a double album or something like that, $5.99 maybe. I mean, $35. That's a healthy figure for a vinyl album.
Well, naturally, there's lots of inflation. I'm not sure what $4 then would equate to now. Probably not 35, but
yeah.
Then when you add, of course, the fact that these are usually 100-gram vinyl, not that we really need that. That seems to be a bit of a gimmick to raise prices.
Yeah. But I think I read an article that it is mostly a gimmick. There's not really that any kind of sound difference.
Improve sound really at all. It's just it just weighs more. Yeah, it won't crack as easily as if you're going to be standing with a record and trying to crack it, or as if
what they need to come up with is they need to come up with a vinyl that is fingerprint resistant. Forget 100 gram. Just give me fingerprint resistant. Because if I make the mistake and grab it wrong, you're like, oh crap.
Like Ralph Cramden's No Cal Pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, No Cal Pizza.
Anyway, another thing that I got, and I haven't opened this yet, but I'm probably going to play this on the way to the club tonight, is the series Psychedelic Skates.
Oh, wow.
New one from your state, New Jersey, just came out.
Really?
It's got 32 tracks because everything is like 2 minutes. For those who don't know, these songs are a little bit more in the garage vein than they are psychedelic. I mean, a lot of garage music did have some psychedelic flourishes, but it's mostly the usual snotty garage or folk garage, or so there's usually a variation of, again, some rougher tracks and some softer ones that, are lo-fi but have really nice harmonies on them.
Yeah.
And those are what I'm always look for. But there's so there's always a variation, but it's all good stuff. And
What
Gear Fab is the label on this.
I was going to say Gear Fab, and what's the is it's 60s? Is that say that it's
I'm
all
sorry,
from the
New
60s?
Jersey in the 60s. Yeah.
60s. Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying. It's 60s garage with, some psychedelic flourishes and sometimes not, but it's really good stuff. And this is, I think, like the 24th volume in the series. They've done lots of different states.
I didn't know they did New Jersey. It's cool.
It just came out like a week
it.
ago, and that's actually going to be an important element in what I'm about to talk about. But
okay.
All right. So the third thing, and I got this for Arena. It's a band who played IPO in Nashville about almost 20 years ago, The Features, who, if you haven't heard, are really cool. Really cool, kind of modern power pop band. I actually need to look for this album myself because I don't have it. But it was in the dollar bin at Amoeba, so we picked it up.
Now, can I ask you, because you said you got that for Rena?
Yeah.
Oh, you're married now. You're cohabitating in a really nice house in Reseda.
Oh, I know what you're going to ask me. Yeah.
Yeah. Do your CDs and vinyl cohabitate, or does she have her?
We have our own collections, but here's the main reason why. She likes to play them in the car. I do not. They get messed up when they get played in the car. Both the covers and the CDs get messed up from those players and just inserting them in that stuff.
And the special sauce from the Big Mac.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't do it. I make CDRs.
Right. Yeah.
If I want to play something in the car, so, and she's cool with that. She's very independent. She doesn't mind owning her own collection.
Which is why when you said I have to get it for myself, I'm like, well, it's right there in the other room.
That's true, but I mean, she would not mind if I played it, but I'm just used to buying my own stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even think about, I don't think about the fact, oh, she's got it, so it's mine too. Well, just it's a different mindset, I guess, but it works for us. So
couldn't you, like, if she was not watching this program in the archives and she's at work, couldn't you just go to her stuff and take her copy and just put it in your
What a great husband I would be if I did that.
Where'd my copy of the Features go? I don't know. It was your copy. What'd you do with it?
So funny. It's a thought, though. No, it's not. And then the last thing, and I hope the FCC is not watching.
No.
This is the rare reissue CD on Hippo Select of the Joey Heatherton album, and that's the cover.
I got it. Yeah.
You got it. I bought it for the articles, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah.
There are great liner notes. I bought it for the
great liner notes. I hardly even looked at the cover.
Yeah. There's actually quite a few bonus. The album itself is fairly ordinary MOR from the early 70s, but the bonus tracks are earlier things she did. And there's a girl group song. There's a Northern Soul song. Pretty cool stuff.
I think it's really funny that you even brought that up. I was talking to someone last night, and I was talking about, my 60s siren crushes, and, probably the top of my list is Barbara Eden.
Yeah.
But I did get around to saying I thought maybe number 2 would be a tie between Joey Heatherton and maybe Yvonne Craig, Batgirl.
Wow.
And,
all right.
So I was a huge Joey Heatherton fan. That commercial with Joe Namath with the shave cream drove me out of my mind. And
I thought that was another. I thought that
there was a couple.
One.
There was a couple of women.
Farrah Fawcett was on with Joe.
Farrah Fawcett was one.
Also. The ones
she also.
Her name was Creamy.
Yeah.
And she would see. That's another thing you could never do now. I know it does. And Tim, I spent a decent amount of money for it.
I remember
$9.99, I'll tell you that.
What wasn't it? Was it Serta Perfect Sleeper?
Yeah.
She did?
Yeah.
Yes. Serta.
spread out on the bed. Yeah.
Oh,
It was very much a man's world then. Yeah.
It really was.
So us geezers really miss it.
Really do. But that, yeah, I got that. I have that CD in my collection too. But yeah, I got it for the liner notes. I really wanted to know.
All right. Well, here's what as I went to pay for it, I told the cashier. So we've got, just to review, we've got the Ride reissue of Going Blank again on vinyl. We've got the Psychedelic States, New Jersey. We've got the features, Wilderness. And we've got the Joey Heatherton album. I said to the cashier, I will bet you that, and how many, what's the world's population right now? About 5 million? Something like that.
Oh, the world's population?
Yeah, the world's population, yeah.
It's like 8 billion, right?
I meant to say 5 billion. 8 billion?
I thought so. I don't know. It's a good question.
All right, maybe about somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 8 billion. Maybe you can look it up.
I'm doing it right now while you're talking.
Okay.
The world's population 7.9 billion. So I was close.
Good call, I would have 8 billion.
I would have won on Jeopardy. I would have been close.
You would have. I said to the cashier, I will bet you there's nobody in the entire world who has bought these 4 albums today.
Right.
Do you believe that? We're talking about a big world, but we're talking about 4 very disparate albums, including one rare one and one that had just come out, which a lot of people wouldn't know about.
Right.
So do you think that that's a possibility? That nobody else in the world bought?
Are you asking me that, or are you talking
to you? Yeah.
I would say that you're the only person in the world buying those 4 albums. I don't even think it's a possibility.
1 billion to 1. I think the odds are greater than that, but
I think you're the only one buying that combination.
Yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of factors. Like I said, you've got a really rare one.
Yeah.
Beyond the fact that they're very disparate and not that many people would want those 4 albums.
Right.
You've got a rare one. You've got a one that just came out that a lot of people aren't even aware of. And you also got the fact that some people would already have had at least one of these albums and would therefore not buy all 4. Even
now, if we have any savant mathematicians that watch the show or are watching us right now, I mean, not only do you have to factor in 8 billion people in the world, but then you've got to factor in how many of those 8 billion actually go out and buy combinations of vinyl and CD. Then you got to factor in how many of like the Joey Heatherton CDs are actually out in the world,
right,
to be set for sale. Then it really gets to the point where, like, yeah, you're probably the only one in a 24-hour period, let alone within maybe
possibly ever. I wouldn't go that far, but I wouldn't be surprised either.
Well, that sounds like a new Twilight Zone episode where you're standing in Amoeba Records and somebody else is standing in Denmark and you're both looking at the exact same 4.
Very, very unlikely that New Jersey album has made it to Denmark yet.
No, very, very unlikely. But
so I mean, again, part of it is that album just came out, so it's probably a lot of people in the world wouldn't have access to it quite yet.
Right.
Okay, and I'm not saying I'm not saying that there's no other people in the world who own those 4 albums. I'm sure there are, but who have them all, who bought them all on the same day? No. So I mean, you think about that concept and how massive it is.
I know what else. Well,
you're doing something that nobody else in the world has done on that same day.
Now, I would say on the same day, you probably were the only one doing that with those albums. Now, I'm going to say you're probably not the only one in the world that owns those 4 things.
No, there probably aren't too many because of the New Jersey.
Because of the timing. But let's say a month from now, you're not the only one, because of people who are just collectors of that kind of just the genre and
they are pretty disparate. You're not going to find too many people who want to own the New Jersey comp and the Joey Heatherton and the features and ride. You're not going to find too many people who want all four. So that's another thing that eliminates it.
But let's say that you're a fan of psychedelia, pop, and collecting, fab, gear fab and things like that. You could get maybe 3 of the 4, and then you just happen to be flipping through the H's and see the Joey Heatherton, and you're our age, and you go, I got to have this no matter what it sounds like.
Anything's possible.
Because.
Again,
so
you already have the Joey Heatherton, so
yes.
even if you wanted all 4 of them, you would. Well, you might if you found it. If you found the Heatherton again, you might buy it again if it was like $5.
Now that Tim said it's going for a healthy price.
It's a rare. I missed it when it came out initially. I Hippo Select. A lot of those things go out of print in about 2 minutes, so you couldn't miss them. I mean, you would easily miss them if you didn't buy them right away. Found it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, are you able to actually open the gatefold, or is it that sticky?
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. It's a great trifold. Yeah, it's a great trifold.
Actually, it is. Yeah, that. What you're seeing there is the very common cover of that album. The nude cover was withdrawn very quickly.
Yeah,
which is why Hippo Select decided to do that cover, because they knew that a lot of people never were able to find the LP version of it.
That's right. That's right next to. Remember that band that used? I think they played IPO in Philly or whatever. Remember Hello Tokyo?
Yeah. Wow.
Hello Tokyo
God,
CD.
I haven't thought of them in years.
That was right. I don't know whatever happened to her. We used to be in touch, but I don't know.
I don't either. All right. How many people in the world have Hello Tokyo and Joey Heatherton right next to each other?
Right next to each other. I'm going to say
maybe you could be the only one.
I could. Yeah.
You really could. I mean, I don't. I couldn't find the Joey Heatherton Muskrat. I'm not. Unless they watch this podcast.
Yeah. They could be running out right now. Say, I gotta check out Amazon for the Joey Heatherton.
Oh no! And guess what? The pool guy's here.
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't,
right back.
Anybody doesn't know, we're not sure what the euphemism is, but David says he has to go let the pool guy in. We're not sure what that means. It's still a mystery.
I just need to find that little baggie I have. Hold on.
While David's out,
got it.
He found the baggie. It was behind the toilet, but now David's going to do that. I was telling David before the show starts, if I have to all of a sudden run and say I'll be back, I am dog sitting a neighbor's dog that happened at the last second. They were going on a Mediterranean cruise, and the people that watch their big old 12-year-old Basset Beagle mix named Daisy backed out at the last second. And Daisy hates every other dog on the planet, but she loves my dog Ches, although she's old and set in her ways, and she has gone after Ches like twice, reactionary type thing. David Bash, online influencer. So Daisy's got a mind of her own right now. She's happily asleep. But if you hear hound howling and I've got to go up, I'll be back. That's me checking on Daisy. She doesn't really walk around the neighborhood. It's like dragging a 60-pound bag of rock salt around the neighborhood.
Don't talk about Joey Heatherton that way.
Well, listen, she's aging gracefully, but like a 60-pound bag of rock salt. But I know she's gone through a hard life. Heck, she was married to Lance Rensel. That's hard.
Oh, that's true.
But
that is a problem.
But she has, she went down some bad roads, but she's still alive. I think she lives in Colorado, right next to
Bruce Rodin. No, he moved.
Yeah, Bruce Rodin.
Brian Albright.
No, next to Claudine Longet. I think they hang out together, and
oh my God.
They're both recluses. Yeah, Lance romance. But wouldn't you love to have Joey Heatherton on Material Issues? Joey, I know
If
you
you're out
watch.
there, yeah.
I know you're a big fan of the program here, so please get in touch with us, and you know, we would love that.
So I just received a package. Don't go there. I just received a package from my good friend Gail
I hear this
George.
offline from him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from my good friend Gail George, who
Yep.
used actually was my girlfriend at one time.
I saw
And
her last night on the This is Ski Lodge live
oh,
stream.
really?
He was
Wow,
there.
I
She
did
was
not
there.
know
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was when she and I were together. She was involved pretty heavily with IPO, and she's now moving and she's getting rid of some stuff. And she said, "I found these old programs. Would you like them?" And it was like, yeah, because I left a lot of mine behind when I moved. So I haven't seen these for a long time. But here's the second. The first one was much smaller, and I don't have it actually. This is the second ever
Oh
IPO
wow.
program, July 23rd through August 3rd, 1999, in LA only. Rhino, at that time, were proud sponsors of International
Wow.
Pop Overthrow, which was very cool. We were doing descriptions of bands at that time. Here's
Yeah.
a not lame ad.
Nice.
And what's that? What ad was this? Oh, Varese Saraband did an ad also. I'd
That's
totally
nice.
forgotten this.
Yeah.
So that's the second one, and then the third one's in here as well. My good friend Don Mogill of the Dons did he did all the graphic stuff on this. The third annual International Pop Overthrow, July 21st through August 3rd, 2000. Oh, look at this, a Crabapple Records, Michael
Oh yeah.
Simmons label.
Yep.
When the Sparkle Jets tribute album came out. Trigger Finger, oh, Wayne Resnick's band. Wow, Kickstand USA. All these bands I haven't thought of.
Do you are you still doing programs?
Not only for Liverpool.
Only
And
for
in fact,
Liverpool.
I'm going to send you one along with a T-shirt
Nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
and the IPO CD.
Now, would
Oh,
you
look
have
at this.
enough? Would you have enough
Superman.
room on
Wow.
your wall? On your
Huh?
walls? Would you have enough room on your walls if you started to frame all these IPO
Programs?
that'd be
Oh,
kind of
God.
cool.
We have to use some of the higher walls in the house to do it. But
Yeah,
if I want to use the higher part of walls, yeah.
that'd be
Wow, I
kind of
can't
cool.
believe some of the ads in here. I don't want to take everyone's time by showing all the ads, but wow,
Yeah.
just a lot of memories flooding back.
Oh, indeed. That's kind of just like a scrapbook of the moment. That's really cool.
Yeah. So she sent. We have the fourth year till, and also all the other ones that we did in other cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I no. So I think the only one I don't have now is the first one, which was about half the size of that.
So you're missing the very first one.
Missing the very first one. Yeah.
Well, somebody out there has it
Oh, I'm
probably.
sure, but I'm not. I don't want to ask them to give it to me unless they don't really care to keep it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool to have. But speaking of cool stuff, I recently got a couple things that I wanted to mention. Complete set of I'll show this one second. 1982 through 88, a company called Music Nostalgia did this card series of all
these R&B groups.
Well, a lot of rock and roll too. It just happened to, you see Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Oh, okay.
But 300 or 270 cards.
Wow.
Through this whole set, which is really cool. I was glad to have that. And then I also came across the 64 card set from 1959. They're called the new cards at the time.
Whoa.
And they're large. You can see how big they are.
Yeah.
But Annette Funicello right there. Mm-hmm. And it's all music artists. Chuck Berry. So that's a complete set. And there's a couple rare cards in there in great condition, like the Elvis card and just some really cool stuff. A Frank Sinatra card. Really awesome. But I found that and got that complete set. So Those are pretty cool.
Wow. It is very
1959.
cool.
Yeah.
Man.
And speaking of things that are cool, which you'll like, being a baseball card collector, there's a guy online called Bonkers Cards. He has a YouTube show, and he's on TikTok a lot, but he deals in mostly vintage baseball cards. That's his thing, from the mostly a lot from the 50s. But he bought a complete set somewhere around PSA 5 is the average, because he doesn't like to deal in like the high quality.
For those who don't know, PSA is a card grading company.
Yes.
And these cards are graded on different visual factors, such as, are the corners really sharp? Is the gloss on the card looking good, or is it worn down? Are there creases in the card? Is the card centered well? Like all these different factors.
And it can make a huge difference.
The grade you get affects the value greatly on these cards. And it's on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. 10 is very, very difficult to find. With older cards, it's almost impossible. But anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, what he does from time to time, and I just happen to get involved in it because it's kind of fun, like those historic autograph cards we opened up online and whatnot. Well, what he did was he bought a complete set of 1953 tops.
Oh my God!
All right, and they're all, like I said, they all average about PSA 5, so they're not.
That's pretty good though for 1953. That's great.
And on the 20th of August, you buy into the set break. He's going to break the entire set, and they're all graded.
I'm cringing now.
Yes. No, it's not bad.
Breaking up sets just kills me.
I know, but he's already got a complete set. He owns a complete set.
Oh, so this is a second set.
This is just a set that he got, and he does a set break, so he makes money on it. But you get a chance. You buy in for $75. And you're going to get one of the cards. It's all a random, computer draw, and you could end up with the 53 Mays, the Mantle, just really.
Again, for those of you who don't know, the most famous. I'm talking to people as if they've never even heard of baseball, but the most famous players, their cards are worth a lot more. As you might imagine, just think about records. Like Beatle albums are going to be worth a lot more than a band who, people haven't heard of. Same thing with baseball cards. The Hall of Fame players, the elite players, their cards will be worth a lot more and are more desired in general than a player who didn't really make much headway.
Right.
And so, so the idea here is you have it's a random draw like any raffle would be.
But I can tell you right now, there's two PSA 8 Mickey Mantle 1953 tops on eBay, and they are at $54,000.
Wow.
Right.
Think about that, people. $54,000 for a baseball card. And that's not, believe it or not, that's not even near the top of the ladder in price.
Right. Here's like a PSA 2, which is a card that's pretty worn.
Yes.
And it's at $1,500.
So you can see how the grade really, but when you get to the higher end of the grades, that's where the prices, like an 8 you said was 53,000 for Mantle. If there was a PSA 9, you might be talking 400,000 to 500,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you get with these older cards, and the difference between an 8 and a 9 is maybe not even visible to the naked eye for most people. But
they put these things under a microscope.
That grade though, and people want it. They want to be able to say, "I've got the only PSA 9 Mickey Mantle in existence."
Wait, you have a Mitch Webster?
Well, it depends. If it's a 1988 Mitch Webster, and as a PSA 10, it's worth like about $700,000.
There you go. Yeah, it's an error card.
Probably worth about 7 cents.
But so the basic thing is I have a shot. I will get a card. It could be Mickey Mantle. It could be Bobby Del Greco. You don't know. But it's an interesting, fun thing to do. I will end up with a card from the set, and Yeah, and that'll be on the 20th. So I was having fun with that a little bit, and I'll show you what I get.
Yeah. Is the buy-in is there
I
still time for me to
I
buy in?
think there is. I didn't see that he said it was completely sold. He just did a month ago. He did the 1955 tops set
Oh,
break.
okay. You didn't buy in with that
No,
one.
I didn't know anything about it, and I happened to watch a video of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then he came on live on TikTok saying, "Coming up, we're going to do the 1953 complete set, and we're
Yeah,
going to break it."
and if you guys aren't really following this, just change baseball cards to records in that
Yeah,
scenario. It doesn't necessarily, and take out the year and just say somebody's got a record collection filled with amazingly rare stuff like Beatles and
yeah,
Beach Boys, and also some very ordinary stuff. And they're doing this same kind of drawing where
yeah. Imagine
for
they had
$75 you have a shot at one of the first 10 White albums, let's say.
right, or you have a shot at a reissue Sergeant Pepper or a non-peeled butcher cover,
Right. Like a
right?
yeah,
So
first state butcher cover that's immaculate.
yeah, immaculate. And there's like a total, variations of all Beatle albums. There's 380 in the collection that someone
Or
bought.
you have a shot for a searching for Sylvia album. Sorry, Andy.
So that's kind of what it's about. It's fun. Plus, I'll get something fun to talk about, and you never know. I can end up with a maze or a mantle.
Let me know if there's still time. I normally I don't do stuff like that, but now I just because you did it, I want to. We
Wouldn't
have
it
to
be
see what
fun?
we with each other. Yeah, we have to see what we get.
Who gets the highest value card of it all? I
I
will.
mean,
I will
you
send
know
you.
what? I obviously I would love to get a mantle or a maze, but if I got a player who I really liked, that
Yeah,
would be pretty cool too.
but
Yeah, I'd be
you
happy to
don't
get a
know.
Yankee. I'd be happy to get any Yankee.
But
You can give me a Billy Martin card. That'd be cool.
they're all. He's also with everybody who gets involved on it. That he's having a random drawing for. There's like a complete set of 8x10 team issued
Oh wow.
1947 Yankees. The
Okay.
8x10s. He's just giving that away as a random drawing, and he's giving away a couple other just random drawing cards to the people that get involved. Which, for if you're a card geek and things, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, he called. I saw the video where the 1955 break, the guy that got the mantle from that set, and it was like he called him live on the air to say, "Yes, Bob, whatever. I just wanted to call you and tell you that you got the 55." And the guy was like, "Oh, great, thanks." it's
Really?
like it's like I'd be like, "Oh, shit,"
I know, really.
Hello.
I mean, you could take off work for about a year.
And so he was like he built up some excitement afterwards, but I could tell the guy was trying to get him to be excited. This was huge,
That's
you know.
insane
So
that
yeah,
he
I'll
reacted
send
that
you the
way.
information. I have not seen that because he would have posted right away that sold out, done.
I hope so. I hope I can do this. I got something very cool in the mail recently.
Oh yeah,
We're back to records now. The Fraternal Order of the All reissue.
yeah.
For those
Nice.
of you who don't know, and for those of you who do, I always like that quirk in the language. But like the information's different if you don't know it as opposed to if you do know it. Really
Yeah,
weird, right? Fraternal Order of the All, Greetings from Planet Love was an album orchestrated by Andrew Gold.
yeah,
Yes, that Andrew Gold of Lonely Boy fame. And by
yeah.
the way, if you've never heard his song "Oh Urania" from back in the 70s, it's beautiful. "Oh Urania" by Andrew Gold. Check it out. But anyway, this is the thing he did in the late 90s, which is, again, a pastiche similar to like the Dukes of Stratosphere, for
Right. Yeah.
example, where he's doing different styles of doing different songs of 60s styled music, and mostly very cool, Beatles, Beach Boys, Birds, all that kind of influence. And the original artwork was spacey, but not really as nice as this. This
Yeah.
kind of Sergeant Pepper motif is very cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Now this is it. You might say, well, wait a minute, this record looks small. Well, it is. It's a 10-inch as opposed to a 12-inch. Don't go there. Not that I know about either of those things.
Hey, listen, first 3 minutes of the show, we get into porn. I'm done with going anywhere today.
Take a look at this. Beautiful white floral vinyl. Yeah.
That's cool.
And a pretty nice Dukes of Stratosphere-esque picture here with the people who played on the album, I guess.
No, that's very cool.
And I don't remember who did. If somebody does, let me know. But it's available on CD and vinyl at this point. I have both. But let me play a couple of tracks, and hopefully the police, the FCC, YouTube, or whatever police aren't out there. This one's called "Love Tonight," and I think you'll know who he's aping here. Oops.
Moonbeams drifting to my mind. Smoke wings floating up across the room. Stars are twinkling.
Sorry.
Two hearts beating to the radio. Laying softly sunlight. The songs are sparkling in the kaleidoscope. Now everything will be as mine. We found love tonight. Love tonight. Love tonight.
Yeah, it vaguely has a Beach Boys vibe.
Yeah, just vaguely, right? And of course, sounds a lot like "Pale and Precious" by the Stratosphere.
Yeah,
he may have actually been going directly after that song instead of
probably,
song, because it's very similar. Here's another one called "Space and Time."
She comes to me and tells me of her heart. She plays the games I left you from the start. Yeah, she was like just for a ride. Knew she had worlds to find. Now she's out there somewhere in space and time.
That's so very Birdsian.
I was about to sing the Bells of Rimney by the Byrds.
Yeah, or
sorry,
I was so much older than I'm younger than that now.
Anyway, the album's filled with songs like that and little interludes as well that are kind of cool.
Great.
Like, similar to, again, Dukes of Stratosphere.
It's a great album, yeah.
I remember, our friend Alan Haber was all over this album when it came out. And if you're into that sort of thing, I mean, there are people who think, well, why do I need to hear that when I can hear the original? To me, it's just another song, and it's not the same as a song we've heard. It's just very similar to one. So why not? Yeah. Right? Yeah. If it's good, it's good.
If you're influenced by something and it's what's ringing around your head, that's what comes out. That's what comes out. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's great. Great stuff.
So what do we have next?
You got. I wanted to remind everybody, you got IPOLA going on tonight.
Oh yeah,
so make sure they make their plans and come out on a Wednesday night. You're heading into the weekend, which will be big.
IPOLA, we started Friday. We've gone through Wednesday, through Tuesday now. It's been really good. Redwood Bar is a very cool place. It's got great food. The sound is good. Stage is a little bit small, but people are managing to figure out the configurations that will work for them.
Yeah.
If you're a 3-piece or 4-piece, it's decently comfortable. If any more than that, you have to kind of you got to figure it out, but it works.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the sound is very good there. I mean, I will say it's kind of hard to get people to come out there because it's downtown LA, which usually means some driving, and there's no street. I mean, you can get lucky and find a meter, but generally you're going to have to use a parking lot. And, the lots are like $10. And a lot of people just don't want to pay the $10 for parking. But, again, we're living in 2023. It's just a fact of life.
Until you open up,
it's worth coming out. Not only that, if you do come, you get the free International Pop Overthrow 3-disc compilation.
There you go.
Not even officially released yet on our label Omnivore. So
think about that. If you bark at paying the fee for the parking lot, you turn around and you make it all back with a 3 CD set.
Which is certainly going for more than $10.
That's exactly right.
And we've gotten great reception on that. A lot of people who come to the show are just there to see a specific band. They don't realize they're going to get the compilation. And then when they do, it's like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
And the artwork is so good that
it's
people
not
get intrigued by that.
You're not handing them some
beautiful
cheap piece of cardboard with 3 CDs stuffed in it.
Right. We go all out.
It's a beautiful package. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So we've got 4 days left of IPOLA. And Saturday we have an afternoon and evening show. So you can bring the kids to the afternoon show. Internationalpopoverthrow.com. Go to the homepage. You'll see on the top left a link you can click on to check out the schedule.
Nice.
So we still have a lot more fun. So hopefully we'll see those. I mean, and my LA friends, some have come out and many haven't. And I understand it's difficult, but sometimes we're all getting older and we don't have the energy we used to. But I guarantee if you do come out, you'll be glad you did.
But of course, there's always the jealousies that people have with not only the wonderful Paisley shirts that you wear, but now your smile is so vibrant that they just can't handle it. Paisley shirts and a beautiful smile, but I can't go and see David. It's just too much.
George Clooney, eat your heart out. Let me tell you.
It looks great. It's all
okay. So do we?
But what time is it? What time is it?
It's time
for
Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash. Stump the Bash.
Yes, indeed, gentlemen, ladies, we've got Stump the Bash going on. Last week, I thought it was going to be tough. I came right out and said, this one's going to be tough. And David killed it right away in the first 2 questions. And it wasn't even a competition. It did get a little hairy there towards the end.
No, did I even get less than 3 on any question? I don't think so.
You got, let me double check. I'm going to double check it.
2 in there.
You came out of the gates with a 5. Then a 4, and then 3, 3, 3.
All right, so I didn't, yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it was number 26, so that right there, that helps me center on certain songs that I knew were bigger than some of the others near the bottom end of the list. But what number do you have for me today?
I got fed up, and I said, you know what? This 26, this 33, this is no good.
33.
Today, I don't know. I'm just saying. We're going to 82.
Oh, no. That does make it a lot tougher, especially in the years where I wasn't listening to radio. Yeah.
And again, I can tell you, it was tough with some of these tracks to come up with even decent clues. So don't bark at me.
You're getting me sleep deprived, too, which is not the best.
Yes.
All right. We'll do what we can.
All right. So this is chart position number 82. If you're not familiar with Stump the Bash, what we do is we go to the Billboard year-end Hot 100. This is the final year-end chart position. So it could have been a number 1 song, but maybe it only lasted at number 1 for 2 weeks and then fell down. So it only ends up at number 82 for the year. And that's what we do. I give him clues. The first clue worth 5 points, all the way down to the 5th clue worth 1 point. And he picks 5 years and needs to get a total of 15 points, which is 3-point average per question to not be stumped. So with that, what year do you feel moderately confident about?
Well, I don't feel moderately. I mean, obviously the early '70s, I feel somewhat confident about. But we're gonna take a risk going right out of the gate with 1966.
Oh, 1966. Let me
Mhm.
write that down here. Right out of the gate, 1966. All right. First clue for 5 points. This is a song written by Alan Reynolds and recorded by this American vocal group and reached number 4 in the US on the Hot 100 January 15th, 1966.
Oh boy, there's so much there. Well, what'd you say the guy was? Alan
Alan
Reynolds?
Reynolds.
I have
And
to
it
say
was
I've
an
never heard of him.
American vocal group.
I got to see if I can wrap my head around Reynolds. Get it? Okay. American
I don't
vocal
want to.
group.
I don't want to foil you.
Nice. Let's see. Well, American vocal group, certainly a lot of those. Don't know who Alan Reynolds is, but
Yeah.
I think I was going to think of one, but I think it was already may have already been an answer, so I don't want to go there.
1966.
And I think that's
number
okay.
82.
Well, 66 vocal group,
but it did rise to number 4.
Number 4. Yeah. Okay.
Early in the year, beginning of
Yeah,
1966.
I don't feel my brain working as well, but we'll try and come up with just some kind of guess. Early in '66, so it's probably not the one I'm thinking of.
Try to wrap your head around it. I don't want to foil you, but if your clothes are a little baggy, it's okay.
Right. All right. I'm trying to get into a zone here, and my brain's not letting me. Let's just see.
Sometimes I have to catch myself.
He doesn't sound.
I want to start to hum the song sometimes, but
right. All right. So vocal group. I'm going to assume not necessarily a rock band, but I could be wrong. It could be a soul group. I don't recognize the name Alan Reynolds.
Rubber Soul.
So
yeah. I think the second clue will give you more.
I hope so. But I'm just trying to come up with a guess that I feel at least semi-confident in. But again, things are just not gelling here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think this was already an answer to another one. But You Are on My Mind by the Wee Five? No.
Great guess. No.
I don't know how great a guess it is, but I had to come up with something. Again, my filing cabinet. I know John Boris say you're making excuses, Dave. Yeah, you're kind of right. Actually, I am. My filing cabinet's not working the way it should.
That's all right. You didn't come out of the gates with a 5-pointer, but I think this second clue might help you as opposed to the third clue, which might not. But this one could. Here we go. 4 points. The baritone lead vocal by Bill Burkett is punctuated by counter melodies and harmonies from the group and rises to a lilting yodel after the chorus.
I don't know who Bill Burkett is, but baritone. Of course, I'm thinking of a particular baritone, but that wasn't his name.
Barry Tone. Because it fits.
See, now my head's stuck on a certain song, which I know it isn't.
I love when that happens. I love when your head is stuck on a certain song. It throws you off. Off the path.
Yeah, this is looking like a. Oh, that's from way back at.
Yeah. I thought that would. I thought that clue would give it to you, but
the whole thing about again, maybe it would on another day. Read the clue again, maybe I'll.
The baritone lead vocal by Bill Burkett is punctuated by counter melodies and harmonies from the group and rises to a lilting yodel after the chorus.
No idea. Not getting it.
All right, we're going to clue number 3 for 3 points. I don't know that this one's really going to help you, but you never know because you're a label guy. Released in October of 1965. So it didn't make the list till 66 on the, and forgive me if I don't pronounce this right, but it's the Co and C label, CO and CE.
Okay.
Label.
I know who.
Backed
I know
with
the
nothing
band.
to offer you.
I know the group, but now I have to think about which song it is.
See, I knew you were.
Oh, I know what it is. I don't know if I call this a yodel, but I think I know what you're talking about. And I really wouldn't have even thought of the lead vocal as baritone, but maybe it is. Is it 5 O'Clock World by the Vogues?
There you go. 3 points. 5 O'Clock World. That's a yodel. That's a yodel. And that I knew that label was probably going to give it to you if you're going to take any clue. The fourth clue would have been it was featured in American sitcom The Drew Carey Show.
Which wouldn't have helped me because I
might not have helped you, but
no, it wouldn't have because I never watched it.
All right, well, you got 3 points. You're
I'm
at
happy
the average.
I got 3. I didn't even think I'd get that.
You're at the average.
But the label helped. Yeah, CO and CE didn't exactly sport a lot of hits.
Right. Okay.
So my question was it You're the One or 5 O'Clock World, which were the 2 big Vogues hit.
Yep.
And yeah, the yodel. Yeah, I guess a yodel. Yeah. Okay.
I thought the yodel would give it to you on clue number 2, but you weren't keying in on that. But that's all right. Where are you going to go to try to redeem yourself with a 5-pointer?
We'll go to the other side. 1974, the second to the last year.
1974. Let's get here with my magic super note that I put these things in. Let me find it. Oh, okay. Here we go. 1974 finished chart position number 82. It's a song written by this American musician. It was the first song he ever wrote and was recorded by his group as a slow ballad, released as the B-side of the band's first single in 1968.
Whoa.
Yes, think about this.
Now, hold on. I think I lost my train of thought. Read the clue again.
Yep. This is a song written by this American musician. It was the first song he ever wrote and was recorded by his group originally as a slow ballad, released as the B-side of the band's first single in 1968.
Well, I wouldn't have.
So
I think I know it.
This is a 1974 track.
I think it's a song that probably split years between 73 and 74. And I wouldn't have thought that this was the first song this guy ever wrote, but maybe he wrote it before a while.
I have a feeling you're going to get a 5-pointer here.
I think it's Hello, It's Me by Todd Rundgren.
And I think you got 5 points. Man, that was a good one. That was a good grab. Woo!
Well, apparently somebody else knew it. They said, easy, you can do it. So I don't think it's easy.
No,
I don't think most people could. I don't think most people could get that. But
Hello, It's Me originally released as a slower ballad on the B-side in 1968 by the Nas.
It's really pretty. The Nas version's really pretty. I'm not even sure which one I like better, but I probably do like Rundgren's better, but probably only because I heard it first and loved it first. So.
I'll tell you what. That was a good one. You got that one. Clue number 5, I think, would have given it to you. It's on the Bearsville label. I had to keep that to clue number 5 because.
Oh yeah, well, Bearsville would have. I mean, there were other Bearsville hits, but probably with the other clues, I would have.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's 5 points now. You're back up over the average. You're at 8. You're at 8 out of 15.
Yeah.
What's your third year?
But now I'm going to have to go back to a 60s here. I try to be fair.
You're trying to balance it out. I get it.
And I will go with 1967.
Ooh, 19. I was just looking right at 1967. This one was a little tough for clue wise. I'm just telling you that.
Uh-oh.
So, but I think you get it. This was released in February of 1967 on the Motown label with the B-side "Something About You."
Well, I know the song. I know the group.
1967.
I certainly love Dave Edmunds' version of that song, but the question is, which song is it? I'm really, with Motown stuff, I'm not always the best with
and I'm telling you right now that a lot of the clues are not going to give you much help just because there just wasn't much about it. But
so which song would it be at 82? And again, the years I'm kind of off on. And I think the song I'm thinking of, was already an answer. So it's probably a different song. Yeah, I wish I collected more 45s from that period. So there's probably someone out there who has this 45 that can immediately answer this, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see, 80. Just trying to think of the years on these. And I thought this one. Oh, is that the same?
I keep putting the same one up
again, or you just put it back up?
No, I just keep putting the same one up.
Okay.
I just like it.
Yeah, by someone who. Yeah. All right.
Oh Lord!
I think we've already used this as an answer, but only because I can't. Because the one song I was thinking of, I'm pretty sure is from '66 and was much bigger than that, but they obviously had a lot of other big hits. All right, Bernadette by the Four Tops.
Yeah, I might as well just go take my dogs for a walk.
Is that right?
You got 5 points on Bernadette.
That's the one I figured it was, but I thought we'd already answered that.
Next week we're going to chart position 120.
What'd you say?
I said next week we're going to chart position 120.
Yeah.
You are.
Well, I mean, if 13. I had that 45.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I mean, maybe not necessarily make the flips. Well, for me, you can make the flip side of a 5-point question because I don't have that many 45s.
That's what I assumed.
And if I don't have it, a lot of cases, I'm just not going to know it. I mean, that's what messed me up with Mindless Child of Motherhood. I should have known that was a Kinks song, though, but I don't have the 45 of Lola.
Yeah, I was confident that you wouldn't really recognize the B-side.
Well, Something About You was covered by Dave Edmunds.
Yes,
and he did a really good version of it, and that made me look back at the Four Tops version. I thought, wow, this is great.
Bernadette.
So there you go. All right, so we're at 13 now.
You're at 13, so now you can take a deep breath and pick any hard year that.
Well, we'll go to 1973.
1973.
I'm picking the years I didn't pick last week. So
yeah, all David needs is 2 points to not be stumped. Let's look at 19. Oh, cool. All right. Clue number 1 for 5 points. Released in April of 1973, it was written by Joseph B. Jefferson and produced by Tom Bell.
Well, Tom Bell, I certainly know most of his production. I don't know who Joseph B. Jefferson is unless he lived next door to Archie Bunker.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think his name was Joseph.
Did he own a laundromat? What did he own? Dry cleaners? What
was George's brother's? Henry, right?
Henry.
Initially, you only saw Henry. I think part of the reason why was that something about Sherman Hemsley and something in his contract about not actually appearing on the show until a little bit later. I don't remember.
I read something like that. I remember that. Yeah.
Sherman Hemsley, by the way, was a big Prague fan.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you wouldn't think that, but yeah, he loved it all.
Now, why wouldn't you think?
He loved bands like Gong, for example.
Let me play today's woke generation. Why wouldn't you think that, David?
Well, because he was only about 5'6", and you know every Prague fan is at least 5'8".
At least 5'8". Yeah. Frack.
That's right. You can't say stuff like that.
You can't.
You get everyone, not just blacks. You get every person in the woke universe saying, "How dare you? That's racist." Yeah. Okay. Find me some more African Americans from the 70s who liked Prague. Go ahead, find one. Find one, you woke bastard. Where are you? Do it.
I don't know why. I don't know why I went there. It was just funny. Again, it was. And speaking of, not to throw you off, but speaking of funny, I saw a meme today. It just popped into my head, and it was, or somebody said, I was pulled over by a cop yesterday, and he got me out of the car, and he said, "Turn around," and I said, "Every now and then I get a little bit lonely," and you never come around. And then the cop said again, "Turn around," and I said, "Every now and then I get a little bit," and he tased me.
Because he hated the song. No,
I just thought that was genius.
Is great, yeah.
Turn around. Every now and then. Bonnie Tyler. Was it Bonnie Tyler? Tyler?
Yeah.
All right. I just threw you off there a little bit, Bonnie
Tyler. You really didn't, because I focused in on Tom Bell, and I'm thinking of his 1973 production.
Yeah.
We definitely haven't done this year before. Are you sure we haven't done this year?
No, we didn't do this year.
Because I'm thinking of another.
Because when I go to my computer and I go to the years, like things that I've already,
not the year, I mean the chart position. You know,
the chart position. Sure, when I go to the chart position, if I've already clicked on it to get more information, it goes less gray than I've been there before.
Okay,
so that's one thing it tells me.
Because I remember there was a 1973 Tom Bell production that was definitely an answer.
Yeah.
If it turns out to be the answer, I can be very confident that we've done this year somehow. And maybe I just didn't pick. Like I don't remember 5 O'Clock World, but I may not have picked 1966. So
yeah.
But this, I'm trying to think. I think I made this guess and it was wrong, and then I got the correct guess on the next clue. If we have done number 82, but you're sure we haven't.
I'm positive, because there's a clue here that I definitely don't remember ever being.
Well, then I will. When you said it was when did you say when it charted or
released in April of 73?
Okay. All right.
Written by Joseph B. Jefferson.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but obviously I do know Tom Bell Productions, and we're in 73. Okay. Well, is it One of a Kind Love Affair by the Spinners?
5 points.
Okay. Then
you are right. At 18.
We didn't use that year because that was my wrong guess for I'm Doing Fine Now by New York City. Which
I remember that.
I think you said it was on the Chelsea label, and then immediately I knew.
Yeah.
And I was surprised it did well enough to make the top. The Hot
5 points. So David has not been stumped on chart position number 82 because he's sitting at 18 points right now. I have to ask you, this was clue number 5, that if it would have got to it, when the single was released, a controversy arose that a curse word could be heard in the section after the instrumental break.
Yes.
Supposedly to some, the lyrics Philip Wynne sang sounded something like, do you know what it was?
You just want to fuck her, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Philippe Wynne would have given it to me anyway.
So you just
I did not remember that was part of the single version. When Rhino did their Spinners box set, they wrote on their One of a Kind Love Affair liners that it was the uncensored version. And I think, you know what? I think here's what happened. WABC, the station I was listening to back then, Thank you. WABC must have edited it. They must have gotten a
Yeah.
single edit that didn't have that, because when I played the one from the Rhino box, I was like, like, wait a minute. I think I would have noticed that. So
Yeah.
some stations played it, some didn't. Yeah, WABC did edits of everything. In fact, we were talking about a couple of nights ago at IPO. There were in the music they were playing between bands. We heard "Blinded by the Light" by Manfred Mann's Earth
Right.
Band,
Right.
and of course, those of you old enough to remember, whether or not you knew Springsteen's version already, and many of us didn't. But you remember what the line? What she was blinded by the light, and it sounded like he's saying "wrapped up like a douche."
Right.
Another
Yeah.
one in the night.
That's what I always sang. Yeah.
I think that was a happy accident, but and it helped make it to number one. There's no doubt that if the lyrics were sung as they normally should have been, that song would not have gone to number one. I'm a million% confident of that. I mean, they did a great version.
Sure.
But it would not have been number one. I think a lot of people bought it, especially teenage boys, because they thought it was cool that he was singing "wrapped up like a douche," which he was not, but it sounded like he was.
It sure did. And I got to say, Manfred Mann's Earth Band, if we're talking about Manfred Mann, in general, I think they're an underrated act. They don't get much. They don't get much talk about anymore. And I think I have most everything that they've put out. Angel Station is one of my was a favorite album of mine, with You Angel You, and
You Angel.
Is that what it called? Angel Station.
I
I
think so.
I forget.
I know I can see the cover, but I'm not seeing the names.
Love that album.
They did a really nice version of a Gary Wright song that most people don't know, because it was on one of his early albums, "Give Me the Good Earth." Yeah. Which is a great Gary. For those of you who are Gary Wright fans, if you don't know his first two albums, Extraction and Footprint, which didn't sell beans when they came out, you need to find those, especially Footprint. It is wonderful. Let me see. Anyway, the upshot of the WABC thing with Manfred Mann is by that time I was listening to FM radio, so I heard the uncensored version, but WABC actually did a little distortion. So when it got to that point, it would be like wrapped up like a. That's exactly what it sounded like. They really did that. I was like, I can't believe this.
I can remember walking down the street singing "Wrapped Up Like a Douche."
Yeah. Great. I think it was a happy accident. I really don't think anyone ahead of time thought, well, let's try this. I think they recorded it. Somebody said, it sounds like you're.
Yeah, they cut out half the lyrics.
That's a doubling length. That's a good point.
Yeah, it is a good point.
It was like about a 7-minute song. That's another thing that made it difficult to do as well as it did. But it was a great version. Douche or not.
Fantastic.
All right, so let's go with.
You got 1 year to try to push your.
Since I've already not stumped, we'll go with the toughest year out there, 1965.
1965 is going
0 points. Well, maybe, but
you could blow it over 20 and end up with a really nice night.
I may change. Can I change my? No, I'll go with 65 and try my hardest to get at least 2 points.
This one's going to be interesting. I'm going to be interested whether you get this one at all. This is pretty good. 5 points. 1965 chart position number 82. This cover version reached number 2 in the UK singles chart and is the only version of the song to have made the top 40 in the US singles charts, reaching number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in June of 1965. So it was number 2 in the UK, and it's the only version of this cover to have made the top 40 in the U.S. singles chart, reaching number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100.
So they're both covers. I mean, it's one song.
It's one song.
It's a cover, and it made it to number 14 in the U.S. and number 2 in the UK. All right. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a UK group, but it certainly could be. Let me think. Or
Sometimes,
UK act, not necessarily group. Let me think. Let's go through. We'll start with some of the UK groups that number 14, and it's finished number 82. That means it probably had a few weeks up there.
Yep.
Yep. Because that's number 14. That's Usually they don't make number 14 songs. Don't usually make the Hot 100 for the year. Trying to think. Oh, no, that song must have done better, and I don't think it's a cover. I don't think. If it is, that would surprise me. You didn't say what month or anything like that, right?
No. Wait. It reached number 14 in June of 1965.
June, right. Yes. I think this was a cover, and I don't even think it's 65. But
if you know the song, you would know that it's a cover.
Oh, all right. Well, then it's not what I'm thinking of.
You've already not been stumped, so I can.
No, I know, but I don't want to embarrass myself.
No, I'm just saying I can give you these extra little hints, like you would know that this is a cover.
No, I don't think this song did as well. I don't think this song did that well in the U.S. I don't think it hit 14, but I could be wrong. I'll go with this guess if I can't think of anything else. Okay, let's get it. Go down. Just trying to think of, and again, I'm thinking of UK groups. I could be completely off on that. It could be a US song, for God's sake.
But many times when I give you the very first words and I say it was a number 2 UK hit,
it still could be a US group that happened to do better there. We've had many of those.
But sometimes there's reasons I say UK before I say US. I don't know. Right, well, maybe not.
All right, I don't. I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm forgetting some of this group's early hits. Venus Band. Yeah, there's some groups I'm just not thinking of right now, but I should be maybe. All right, I can't. I just don't think this song did this well in the U.S., but I could be wrong. I'm going to go with Just One Look by the Hollies.
No.
Okay.
No, I was all ready to go.
No.
Didn't happen.
I don't think that did that well here.
Okay.
It probably didn't even do that well there.
Either.
But that is a Doris Troy song.
All right. 4 points. You can still break 20 in the overall. Mm-hmm. Clue number 2. Cashbox described this track as a pretty, lyrical, emotion-packed reading of this oldie.
Oh.
So it's considered an oldie in 1965.
Which makes me think it even more that it's not a UK, but it could be just a UK act. But I'm really, it's like nothing is clicking here. Oh, well, let me try and think of what was covered. Now, so again, this is one of those times where I need my brain to work, and it's one of those things where if I don't know it right away, I'm probably not going to get it.
I know.
You know how that goes sometimes?
I know how it goes with you sometimes. I get to see it from this side of the
No, but don't you ever have things like when you're tired? If you're tired, if it's something you know well, you can recall it.
I know.
If you have to search through your head, it's like.
But I also know your competitive nature in this game with music and the tracks and songs. And if you get into clue number 2, your mind starts like, oh crap, and you really start to steam. And I can see you thinking hard.
But when I'm tired, I can't feel that feeling of I'm zeroing in. I'm not getting it because
just for everybody watching, I just got a text. So when this show ends, I haven't had dinner yet, and my neighbor down the street just said there's a dinner at my front door.
All right.
Yeah, how nice is that?
Very. All right.
I'm surprised that Daisy, my renter right now, has not going crazy at the front door. But
no, let me
4-point clue.
let me
1965.
Okay, there were some
track position number 82. Did
there
reach
were-
number 14.
there's some British invasion acts I hadn't thought of yet that I'm not thinking of. But I'm still not coming up with a cover. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of all these hits, and if I'm supposed to know it's a cover, it's not coming to me.
I would highly assume that you would know this is a cover. Yeah, you would look at the track.
Yeah, it's just I'm thinking of all these British groups, and I could be way wrong in doing so, but I'm not coming up. And then I'm thinking, of course, oh well, wait a minute. No, see again, I don't. Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
All right. Well, clue number 3 for 3 points. You could still break 20. Of course, this is where the label comes in. It's released on Capitol Records.
Great.
1965 as a mono single on both the A and B sides of the 45.
You know, I think almost everything was released as a mono single.
Probably was.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so you're still no further ahead except for knowing Capitol Records, which is
of course there's so many. And you know, by that
I think maybe the next clue will give it to you. You'll still
by that
20
time,
points.
You know,
yeah,
groups like, who would have been on Capitol here? Well, obviously, the but yeah, they didn't have it at that point. They weren't doing covers. Who else is on? Well, again, no, that would have been, what was their follow up though? See, that's not a cover either. I mean, it was written by somebody else, but yeah. Ha 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 ha. Is that supposed to be a clue?
Well, you could be watching Titanic the movie and say it's riveting.
Huh.
Thank you. I'm here all night. Thank you.
See, but I don't think this is a cover, but I do remember it reaching number 14.
Wow.
But I don't think it was a cover. Woman by Peter and Gordon? No. Tell me if that reached number 14.
What's that, Peter and Gordon?
Woman by Peter and Gordon. At least I'd like to know if I got that right.
Woman, Peter, and Gordon. See, I have to do this because David can't have access to his computer.
Right, yeah.
Let's see here. Woman. Let's see. Let me just type in an extra word here. Chart. Position. Yes. It did reach number 14 in 1966.
Oh, in 66. See, I'm wrong about the year.
Yep, so you're wrong about the year.
So that's no good. But all right. Chart position right. But yeah, all right, let's hope I can get 20 points.
Well, 2 points on this
clue.
Go
with 65, David. You had to go with the toughest here. Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Clue number 4 for 2 points. David Essex and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Think of those two. Recorded a duet of this track for Essex's 1994 album, Back to Back.
I do not have that album, and I have a feeling I would not like that album.
A David Essex, Catherine Zeta-Jones duet. How many people are saying this clue right now in the world at this exact moment?
Oh, well,
Probably
there
nobody.
you go. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're going to go that far. Yeah, how many people are sticking up their middle finger, whipping it out, and reading "Catcher in the Rye" all at the same time in the world?
I think
Probably zero.
there's probably at least 3 or 4 people doing that right now. Because Catcher in the Rye,
Let's see. Wow, that
I think we might have because the
does me no
clues.
good.
That's because the clues are tough, and I think this might be a big zero unless you can figure this last one out. But
I don't know.
I don't know why you would figure it out on this last clue, because you would think it would be an easy clue, but this was a tough.
And ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten zero before, so this isn't anything new. But
clue number 5, he's already not stumped, so it doesn't really matter. But
it might end up with the same point total as last week. Yeah.
All right, clue number 5. Ricky Nelson recorded the song in 1985, 5 days before his death in a plane crash. It was the last recording he ever made, although the recording remains unreleased.
That's a 1-point clue.
I'm sorry. I'm telling you, you picked 1965.
That probably should have been the 5-point clue, but
think about Ricky Nelson. Who was Ricky Nelson highly influenced by, and why would he record a cover version, and what would it be?
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, I mean, he was influenced by a lot of people, but now I'm trying to think of.
So you got to think about a Ricky Nelson influence.
See, but I don't think. I didn't think this was even a single, so I don't. Fuck it. Words of Love by the Beatles?
No, we ended up with 0 in 1965. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The answer
is what?
True Love Ways by Peter and Gordon.
I've forgotten that one. I zeroed in on the group, but just
a Buddy Holly original.
Completely forgot about the song. Yeah.
And you know that's a cover.
1965 again. I didn't listen. I wasn't listening to the radio, so everything I know about that year is pure research.
Right? Yeah.
Both verbally and auditorily, and I'm going to
look at it this way. David was not stumped again. He still ended up with 18 points, which is blowing right past the 15-point. Not bad at all. He came out of the gate with a 3. So right away he was on edge, but then followed it with 3 straight 5s. 3 straight 5s.
Pretty sick, right?
Stump the Bash did not come through on my end this week at chart position number 82. What will we do in the next few weeks? Well, we don't have too many Stump the Bashes because we've got some great guests coming up.
And now I've forgotten who they all are.
Well, next week.
We now have, for those of you who are watching for the first time, we have guests more often than we don't.
Yes.
And now we're going to get into a few weeks where we do.
Yeah.
Next week, we have one of the main men of. Oh, okay. Well, Tim, Tim, if I get it on the 5-point, we don't know if you would have had it on the 4-point or 3-point, because we don't know what the clue is.
Right. Yeah. You don't know. Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So So next week we have one of the main men of a great pop kind of proggy, cheeky band called City Boy, who had a hit with 5705 in the U.S. and had a bunch of hits over in the U.K. He became I think the vice president of A&R at Jive Records and co-wrote She Bop for Cyndi Lauper. Wrote songs for Britney Spears, the Backstreet Boys, Justin Timberlake, all kinds of people like that. So it was a big name in the industry, even more than he was a great singer-songwriter. He goes by the name of Steve Stevel right now, which may have always been his real name. No, I don't think it was. I think he's under a few names. But Steve Broughton was his name when he was in City Boy.
Nice.
along with the other main man of City Boy is Lowell Mason, who then formed the wonderful group, the Masonettes. Have you heard them, Mark?
Yep. Yeah, I've heard them.
Oh
yep.
my God, that album, Masonettes for Sale, is so amazing, and nobody knows about it except maybe you. But
that's going to be a great interview.
So Steve will be. I have a feeling he's going to be very entertaining.
That's going to be next Wednesday, the 16th. Yeah.
And then what do we have on the 23rd?
Well, the 23rd, if anybody was a fan of the American Gladiators show from 1989 through 96, it was pretty popular. It was like these big buff steroid out type athletes who would compete against originally normal people in gladiator type events like jousting and whatnot. We've got one of the first year originals. She came on halfway through the first season. It's Lori Fetrick, who played Ice in American Gladiators. There's a brand new documentary called Muscles and Mayhem out on Netflix,
which I still haven't watched.
But you'll get it. You'll get there.
For certain I will before we interview.
But it's
Lori,
such an interesting documentary on the behind the scenes of American Gladiators, in the fact that they actually were. It's not like professional wrestling where it was kind of all staged, and what these people were going at it. And that's why there were so many injuries and so many people coming on the show brand new. But there was also a lot of steroid rampant use that they all admit to. But Lori's really a wonderful individual, and she's going to be on the show. It's Ice.
Yeah, every now and then we throw some curveballs. It's not always music related guests.
Yeah. So
and
then we have.
Let's go to the next one, since you found this was a great, as they say now, making verbs into nouns, which drives me nuts. That was a great get by you. Yeah.
Well, after the 23rd of August, we've got the 30th, and then September 7th or 6th with no guests. But I just thought I'd mention right here, there is a big iron in the fire that could pop up in that time period. We don't know. But stay tuned, because that could be cool too. But on September 13th, top 10 hit in 1973, top 10 hit in 1974. But for me, the iconic 73 hit, Spiders and Snakes, Mr. Jim Stafford is going to be on the show. Many years he had his theater in Branson, Missouri. He was very much known for his comedic sense in his songs.
Yes.
My Girl Bill, I know we've talked about that before here on the show. Also, it didn't make the top 10, but what a fantastic
what a great punchline that song had.
Great punchline.
Those of us who were young and naive like me, when we first heard that song, we thought it was about one thing. Turned out to be about something completely different. And when we found out what that was, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So Mr. Jim Stafford's going to be here on the show. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I had mentioned that I had never heard Wildwood Weed at the time it was out. But and again, that goes back to WABC. I mean, they weren't going to play a song that might have been about weed.
Right.
So I'm sure they just banned it completely, because I never heard it on that station.
It wasn't something you heard very much, but
it was top 10.
But it was
nationally,
top 10.
So obviously some stations really embraced it.
Yeah, we're playing.
Yeah.
So after Jim Stafford, will the Gladiator episode feature Wrestle the Bash? Yes, we are in discussion.
If Lori's willing, if she wants to wrestle with me, I don't mind losing. In fact, we can stay down on the ground the whole time, as far as I'm
That's
concerned.
a good call. Yes, he's very attractive, very attractive.
But on September 20th.
Yeah, here we're going to round out our four known guests with a great one. What do we got, David?
We have a guest that any pop fan worth his or her salt will definitely want to check out. He was one of the main men of the iconic pop band. Some would say power pop. I kind of think power pop adjacent, but I'll call them power pop. I have them in my Power Pop Hall of Fame. So one of the main men. He's since then he has been in several other bands, including TV Eyes and I'm blanking on the more recent one, Licorice Quartet.
Licorice Quartet, yeah.
And he's got a new EP coming out on Omnivore Records, my label.
There you
Yes. Very honored to share labels with this gentleman. But yeah, you all know by now that it's Roger Joseph Manning Jr.
Yep.
And he doesn't do a lot of these, so we're really honored that we're going to have him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be a fun interview. He's
It'll be awesome.
He's a fun guy.
But you know, like we always say, if you haven't joined the Facebook group or if you haven't subscribed over on YouTube, do it and tell your friends about it, because David always posts on Monday or Tuesday what we have going on, definitely on that Wednesday show. And as I said, we've got some great irons in the fire, and it could pop up on a Monday that it's happening at a certain specific date and time.
It's true.
And you're going to want to know about it.
Yeah.
So subscribe, join, and we'll let you know, because we've got cool things in the works, and we've got 4 great guests coming up in the next 5 or 6 weeks. So, wow,
Yeah, no, we've got, and we'll have more, no doubt about it. I've been a little busy with IPO, so I haven't. I've fortunately, Mark is out there getting people, and
we're trying.
We'll get I'll get some more too. We'll always, we love doing these shows ourselves. They're fun. We always have stuff to talk about, but it's also fun when we have guests, and it's certainly much more informative than we are. So, and
I will update you on the Bonkers 1953 set break, and if I get anything decent, and possibly David might be involved as well. So
send me the link. I
will.
If it's still eligible, I'm doing it.
I will. I will find out if it's still open. I'll send you, because I think you can PayPal in, you can Venmo in.
Yeah,
there's a couple of different ways you can
PayPal, because I don't have Venmo, but
you can do. That's how I got involved. So, we will do that. But we thank everybody for hanging out here on a Wednesday night in early August.
And I'm going to try to get a little nap, which will be a fruitless endeavor.
No. Well, good. You have IPO going on tonight.
Yeah. Around an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to have to. Well, Reno will be home, and we'll leave for the club. So
cool. Well, have a great night at Redwood, and thank you, Tim, for hanging out. We appreciate the good words. We have a lot of fun with our friends. We don't say this as fans of the show. We're all just friends here, and
absolutely,
we just have a good time, and we appreciate you hanging out. So good to see you, Tim, and everybody else here in the show. Andy, obviously, always checking in. Appreciate it. So have a great night, everybody, and we will be back here next week with Steve Steffel of City Boy, and have a great night.
Yeah, have a great night, great week. Stay safe. We'll see you next.